my name is Desiree McWilliams, and today I will be presenting about positive interpersonal relationships and how to build them. Why build positive interpersonal relationships? Well, it comes with a lot of benefits. Some of these benefits include recovering from minor illnesses like the flu and the cold a lot quicker, managing your stress better, recovering from surgery twice as fast, and performing better at work. So how do you build these positive relationships? First, you want to communicate effectively. You're going to focus on accuracy. The English language is extremely confusing. It has words that are spelled the same but can be pronounced and mean completely different things, and so it's easy for misunderstandings to occur. Technology and communication go hand in hand. It has simultaneously lifted and held back our communication skills. Some of the pros include that it's an extremely useful tool, the option to a world of vocabulary is at our fingertips, and it holds us back because context gets lost, misunderstandings occur more frequently, and it's hard to convey emotion through text. One example that I found from the Pearson text that I thought was funny is on voice recognition programs, one cardiologist friend who always records his diagnosis via voice recognition software completed a procedure to clear a patient's artery by installing a shunt, a small tube in the artery. He then reported in the patient's record, "The patient was shunted and is recovering nicely." The next day, he checked the record. The software had recorded, "The patient was shot dead and is recovering nicely." I thought that was funny, so I wanted to add that here to emphasize on the point of how technology is a very useful tool that this doctor uses to make dictations go by a lot smoother and faster, but it also leaves errors like this, which are pretty serious errors. The next step to building positive interpersonal relationships, you want to focus on supportive communication. It is key. So how do you communicate supportively? We can follow the 8 attributes of supportive communication to help us. What are the 8 attributes of supportive communication? Descriptive, problem-oriented, supportive listening, congruent, validating, specific, conjunctive, and owned. I will go into these in the next couple of slides. So, when we're being congruent, you want to focus on honesty so that your thoughts and your feelings match the words that you say. So you'll say, "Your behavior really upsets me," not, "Do I seem upset?" No, everything's fine. Next, we have descriptive, not evaluative. So you'll describe what happened, how you react, and you'll suggest a solution to the problem. So you could say, "You ate my leftovers, this upset me. Maybe I should move my leftovers to this side of the fridge." Not, "You are wrong for doing what you did." That doesn't give the other person very much to work with. It's very vague. Now, next, you want to be problem-oriented, not person-oriented. You want to find an issue, and you want to make sure that the issue is not the other person or the person's characteristics, because the person is not the issue. There's some other root issue. So, for example, you could say, "How can we solve this problem?" Not, "Because of you, a problem exists." You want to be validating, not invalidating. This attribute focuses on making the other person feel appreciated and respected. You'll focus on words and phrases that emphasize respect, collaboration, and areas of agreement. So you could say, "I have some ideas, but do you have any suggestions?" This gives the other person an opportunity to speak and contribute, So you wouldn't say, "You wouldn't understand, so we'll do it my way." that puts up a wall that the other person is going to feel like, wow, this person like doesn't think I have anything good to contribute. You want to be specific, not global. So like I said before, you want to avoid being vague or general, and pretty much this one is simple. Just be specific. So you could say, you interrupted me 3 times during the meeting. You say what the person did, how many times, when. Doesn't leave any room for misunderstanding. Not, you're always trying to get attention. It's very vague. It doesn't let the person know like why or when was I doing this, you know. Next, you want to be conjunctive, not disjunctive. So you'll use what was previously said in conversation to carry on the flow of the conversation. It shows that you're listening to the other person. This ties back to a previous attribute, validating, not invalidating, where you kind of let the other person know that you appreciate what they're saying and the conversation that's happening. So you could say, relating to what you said, I'd like to raise another point. Not, I want to say something, regardless of what you just said. I can admit that, like, in a friend group, if I've said something and it just falls flat and they move on to whatever else they want to say, no one really cares or heard what I said, that can be pretty hurtful. So this attribute in particular could be a very useful, powerful tool. And then you want to have owned, not disowned. This means you take responsibility for what you said, using words like I. So you say, I have decided to turn down your request because. This one can be a little harder for people because when it comes to disappointing people, no one really wants to do that. So you end up saying stuff like, you have a pretty good idea, but it wouldn't get approved. Placing the blame or the focus or the point of dishappiness on some other entity instead of taking responsibility for what's actually happening. Next, you want to do supportive listening, not one-way listening. So this goes back to making the other person know that you actually care about what they're saying. So you use appropriate responses to what is being said to you. I think all of us pretty much can nail this one. You just respond appropriately to what's being said to you, and you focus on reflective responses. So that would mean saying something like, what do you think are the obstacles standing in the way of improvement? That's like reflective thinking. What are the obstacles that could stand in the way of your improvement? You know, instead of saying, as I said before, you make too many mistakes, you're just not performing. That doesn't leave any room for improvement or any room for self-reflection. Adding that room for self-reflection allows the other person an opportunity to think instead of them just taking away nothing from the conversation. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. I hope you're able to take away the attributes of supportive communication to build positive interpersonal relationships in your life and enjoy the benefits of those relationships. Thank you so much.